Way back when, in the late 1900s, I was a student at Wartburg College in Waverly, Iowa. And I'm coming on here today to tell you a little bit about my why I went to Wartburg, why I chose Wartburg College. And this is part of me promoting UKnight Day on Thursday, March 19th. Coming up. So this is a day when Wartburg College students, alum, faculty come together to support the future of Wartburg students. So let me tell you a little bit about my why. My why might seem silly. I was a huge book nerd, still am. And when I was in fourth grade, we took a field trip to Wartburg College, and we went to the library there, and it was the largest library I have ever seen, or I had ever seen to that point. And now, mind you, the library looks very different now than it did when I was a student than when I was in fourth grade. But that was my whole goal of going to Wartburg College, because they had this huge library and I was drawn to it. And from fourth grade, I knew that's exactly where I'm going to go to college, all based on a library, which I realize now was truly my quest for knowledge, my thirst for things bigger and greater in life. And so from fourth grade on, the only goal I had as far as higher education was becoming a student at Wartburg. Now, my guidance counselor thought I was a little bit cuckoo because I did not apply at any other colleges. I was so confident that I was going to be a student at Wartburg, and I literally set my whole entire academic life up to become a student at Wartburg College. And well, I filled out the application. I sent it in. I interviewed. I'm a former Regents scholar at Wartburg, and I was accepted. I started school there in the fall of 1993. I graduated in the spring of 1997. I was a communication arts student with an emphasis in public relations, and I absolutely value the experience I had at Wartburg College. Now, why I'm excited about UKnight Day. Why I'm super excited, especially after tonight, because tonight I attended via Zoom a Nights to Know, which is where former students and students and faculty come on to talk about the Wartburg experience. And we talked tonight about careers in student affairs and creating and melding that co-curriculum of and the curriculum studies, the life outside of Wartburg and the life inside of Wartburg, and how to better support students. And one thing looking back that I always think about my days at Wartburg College is I really wish that I would have had the opportunity to participate more or have had more student support. Now, granted, we are talking, this was like 30 years ago, okay? So things have blossomed and grown. And I'm really excited because I'm looking now and I'm listening and I'm watching the people talk about their careers in student affairs, whether it be at Wartburg College or, alum that are at other universities. And this is why it's so important for the giving of UKnight Day, is because it supports on-campus services for students. And when we're talking about student affairs, the student affairs tends to, the whole goal is to support students and to help them have the best experience possible on Wartburg College campus. And I see today how it's changed so much. I saw that tonight. And I sit here and I'm like, oh my gosh, if I would have known more about these resources, or if they were there, maybe they were there and I didn't know, and things were different. I mean, this was 30 years ago. And I look at this and I'm really, really excited for the future of Wartburg students and future graduates. So the whole reason why I went to Wartburg was because of the library. I wanted to go there because of that. And then on the bigger scale, I really look at it, and it was like I knew in myself that Wartburg College was going to give me the opportunity to become a leader. I am definitely a student that did not go so much to come out and have a profession. I went for a set of skills to learn leadership skills. One of my regrets is that I did not participate more, and that's where the student affairs come in. I was a student that worked all through college. I know many students do and do work study. That's nothing new. However, I was solely responsible for covering the costs of my entire education. And that included all of my living, everything. I didn't have any assistance. However, there are scholarships and many things that I was able to apply for. I mentioned I was a Regents Scholarship. That's why UKnight Day on Thursday, March 19th is so very important. I feel that, you can designate where your donations go, or you can give them to the general fund. And Warburg has this great culture of creating leaders, and it's community based. And I always had a strong sense of being involved in the community ever since high school, working in parks and recreation and public education. And that has carried over into my adult life. Even in as much as me being a cancer survivor, an advocate for chronic pain patients, talking about chronic migraines, all of the things that affect my life, I take those experiences, and and as I look at it, I've taken that leadership approach to teach others, to guide others, to be there for them, to listen. And so this is really exciting for me. As I watch this student affair, as I watch the Nights to Know tonight, which there's a podcast, you can watch it. As I watched it tonight, I'm like, this is so great. And it got me extra hyped up for UKnight Day. I'm so excited for UKnight Day, especially after watching about the student affairs. Thursday, March 19th. I was a student that would have really benefited from a fully bloomed and blossomed, student affairs. I'm sure there was at the time. However, part of the discussion tonight was getting those resources, letting students know about them so that they know what's available to help them, and how, because that your life outside of Wartburg is also part of your Wartburg experience. And that's something that I see that has changed in education in the last many years. So this is really exciting to me. And I'm so excited for the future Wartburg students and those that are alums and what you have access to. I look at it like when I was diagnosed with cancer. I'm still learning resources that are available to me or were available. And what I'm hearing tonight is we have this great Student Affairs Council at Wartburg College. And what they do is they make sure that all of these incoming freshmen, first-year students, have access to these resources. And that is so important to the path and to the journey and enhancing your experience, whether it be in an educational setting such as Wartburg College, or if it be in the real world and advocating for yourself medically or whatever. And Wartburg works to churn out professionals and leaders. Your course of what you study is not always what you end up becoming in life. However, you will use the skills that you learn in a setting such as Wartburg College for the rest of your life. I have. So my why of going to Wartburg College was because it had the biggest library I'd ever seen. It was the only college I applied to. It was what kept me going academically during the hardest parts of growing up, and what I navigated in my life before I became an adult. And it's amazing. I just, wow. What I took away from Wartburg is immense. And it gave me the courage to build a life that works for me. the best I can. And it gave me the gusto to always think community minded and to be in positions of leadership, even within like my church. And that's valuable. So my why was bigger. I just didn't on the surface know it, and I couldn't comprehend it. But there was something in me that drove me to Wartburg College so that I could come out with great leadership skills, the ability to appreciate differences, and the desire to learn and to make the world a better place, as well as to create a future that I woke up every day and loved, that I woke up and I was excited to do life. So the last 5 years, I haven't been so much excited to do life because of the cancer and all that stuff, okay? But that desire to do life is happening again. And I'm also learning at this time that my days at Wartburg College gave me the confidence to, in my early 50s, step out and build a new life. Life is not over, okay? So, UKnight Day, Thursday, March 19th, I will have my link available. And you can donate to Wartburg College for the future of students, for the future of leaders, for the future of community members. I mean, the people that have graduated from Wartburg, so many of us have gone on to do great things that have either been noticed or unnoticed. And I'm excited for my future. And tonight, watching this Nights to Know about the Student Affairs program at Wartburg, that is why I think it is so important, Thursday, March 19th, to give. Because I know that if I would have, like, right away off the bat, like, somebody would have taken an interest and said, oh, wow, you know, I mean, in a way, I don't feel like I fell through the cracks. I feel like there was more personal responsibility as far as choosing involvement when I was young. And as if you're Generation X, you could all say, yeah, that's true, because it is true. But now there is that, like, hey, we need to look at students right away. We need to be involved in their lives. And that was always there, but it's different. It seems to have shifted. And boy, if I could go back, I would. And I can tell you, if you go to Wartburg College, you are going to love your days there as a Wartburg Knight. You have a great support system in the faculty, in the staff, in your professors. And now Wartburg even offers master's programs. That was not available back in the late 1900s. So all these cool things. So if you want to help students, especially students like me who were responsible for all of their education on their own, all of their bills, I mean, everything, with very little support behind the scenes with my life outside of Wartburg College, you should give to UKnight Day, because there are people out there that deserve this opportunity. And I promise you, graduating from Wartburg will change your life. I encourage you, as a Wartburg graduate, as somebody who has taken those leadership skills and brought them forever throughout her life, that participated as much as I could. I believe this is important. So join me on Thursday, March 19th, in supporting Wartburg College students and the future of leaders at the college of our brightest days. Okay? All right. So, all righty. Woohoo! Wartburg College. Go Knights. Go Knights. Exciting. All right. That's it. That's a little bit about my why. My why was because of a library, but subconsciously I know that I was being guided to Wartburg because it was the best fit for me and the best fit for what vocation and plans that were greater than me were formed. And Wartburg has helped me on this path. All right, I'm Shena Collins. Comment, follow, like, share, all that groovy stuff if you want. Please join me on Thursday, March 19th. I will put my link there on that day, and you can donate to the giving. You can donate early as well. And this is superb. That's my why. I know it sounds silly. Consciously, it was because of the library. And subconsciously and within my fabric, it was because I wanted and desired to enhance the lives of others, be a leader, be an innovator, be a person who shares stories. And stories matter, and stories change lives. All right. You know me. I'm a little bit all over the place, trying to keep my focus. But here's the main reason. Thursday, March 19th, 2026, UKnight Day for Wartburg College. A great institution, a great value, wonderful people, and wow, all of the student support that is available there now and the future of the student support, how it has grown since the late 1900s. This is exciting. All right, everybody, peace and love. It's your friend Shena Collins here, signing off. I hope you're all well. Stay tuned. Keep following my story as I journey into this next chapter of life. And we will see where I go and what I do with the training that I learned from Wartburg and the confidence that I have and the experiences that life has thrown at me that I am taking into building a future for myself post-cancer while also living with invisible disabilities. All right, y'all. Thank you so much. This is my why. Have a good night.